Vamos, I know that you want it, boom. Logos, we cannot stop, pounds and boom. Ra-ta-ta-ta, I'ma make it boom.
This is a Stray Kids podcast. Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where I, Phil, get to talk about Stray Kids with my friend Tom. Tom, how you doing?
That's me. I'm doing good.
Good.
How are
Glad
you?
You're doing good. Oh, I'm good. Yesterday was Halloween.
That's true, yeah.
So it was pretty Halloween-y.
Oh, wow.
That's what they say. The kids, they're saying it's Skibbity Toilet Halloween-y. Right? Hello, fellow kids.
Yeah. I had to look at recently, well, not recently, a couple months ago, we were talking about this skibbity thing in the guild. And I was we had to figure out, like, is it a good thing? But apparently it's not. Apparently
what?
When you say, apparently, well, I don't know, at least the source that we found says that, like, if you say something is skibbity, you're saying, like, it's bad.
If something is Skibbity Toilet Ohio Riz, it's good.
Maybe.
Like, listen, here's what's going to happen, right? It's a nonsensical phrase, and it's going to go away. Yeah, so
right. Well, I'm
not going to worry about it too much. It's not a for real. You know,
it's
not yeet. It doesn't have the staying power of yeet.
I'll be honest,
because it's too hard to say.
It's been a minute since I've heard someone say yeet.
Yeah,
but
has it? But you know what the opposite of yeet is, because that word was invented first.
Yote?
No.
Oh.
It means the opposite of yeet too. Yeet is when you throw something. The other one is when you take something. So what would you say in the early 2000s if you yanked something away from somebody?
Yoink.
You got it. Yoink and yeet, they're opposites, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's true.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying that Skibbity doesn't have the staying power. There's a micro generation of kids who are like, Skibbity's funny, and everyone younger than them and older than them is like, that's cringe shit. We don't do that.
It sounds like, I mean, I know nothing about it other than it's a thing.
Right.
But it sounds to me like it's one of those, like, it's funny because it's random and weird,
right? Yeah, there was a lot of that in like the late '90s. This is not a new thing from happening, you know.
Yeah, but like, okay, but the ones from the '90s and like early 2000s, I think they were simple, and that's what made them good. Like Badger, right? Like
Badger, mushroom.
Yeah, like it's very simple. It's a nice loop, and that's what makes it great, even though it is pretty random.
Yeah, hamsterdance.com.
Hamster dance. I don't remember that.
You don't know? Oh, I'm older than you. Yeah.
That's true.
That's early. That's early internet. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know Eskimo Bob?
No.
Eskimo Bob was like a Flash animation series. Similar to Homestar Runner, but only I watched it, apparently.
Yeah.
But I showed it to the kids because
man,
Logan was watching, what was he? I don't even remember what brought it up. He was watching something that's like pretty random. Oh no, I wasn't even watching. He was reading Dogman. You know the Dogman books? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't know that because you don't have kids. Anyway, there's a series of books called Dogman. They're mega popular for kids. It's about a man who had a dog head transplanted onto his body and he became Dogman. That is true.
Like,
that is true. Listen.
Not that he was born with a dog head, but that he was a fully functional adult.
He was a police officer.
And he was like,
I don't remember what the accident was. Something happened and they replaced his head with a dog's head.
Okay. It wasn't like a conscious that he like went into the doctor one day and was like, you know what I would like?
No. It was they're in the emergency room. Quick, the only way to save him was to attach a dog's head.
Okay.
Anyway, it's getting like a CGI movie next year, early next year. I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, Logan loves it, but like the humor in it is just super random. And it reminded me of these old Flash videos I used to watch called Eskimo Bob. Problematic, maybe. Yeah, not that problematic, other than being called Eskimo Bob. Right. And there's some indigenous populations in Canada that are like, don't call us that. But there are some that are like, do call us that. So right. Just
like the people of Roma.
The people of Roma, yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah. The Romas.
The Romas. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But anyway, so all that to say that I have now introduced the next generation, meaning my children, to this what was semi-obscure at the time. Just me and my friends watched it. I feel like that's not true, but it feels true. And it's been fun. It's now like part of Logan's routine at night, where he's like, "Can we watch an Eskimo Bob?" And it's like literally the second episode of it is Eskimo Bob eats a fish raw, and then his friend Alfonso is like, "Hey, I got the stick. Let's go poke the walrus with a stick." And then they go to the walrus, and then they give it a little light poke, and the walrus goes and chases them off the screen, and that's the end. That's it. That's the whole episode. So the kids love it naturally, because it's brilliant. You just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely told you this. That I remember one time when I was here as a student, this guy from my class came to my room, and he was like really excited to show me this video. I don't know why. Yeah. But he was like, "Oh, I watched this, and it was just so hilarious, and I think it's your kind of humor." And he showed it to me, and you ever have someone show you something that you do not like at all?
Yes. That's happened.
I just had to be like, yeah, I'm just not really into that.
Oh no.
And it was like, because it was like these random bullshits, just like there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just nonsense, which sometimes can be funny, but I don't know. There's something, you got to find the right execution, and I can't explain what it is, but Skibbity's not it. I'll tell you that. Although I've never watched
that's not
Skibbity.
No Skibbity. No diggity,
No. Sure. Yeah. No skib.
Yeah, no skib. Skib sounds better than adding the D.
Damn, did I just create a new version?
You did.
Yeah. I'm not.
You have that kind of influence on the culture, Tom. You do.
That's right. I am a. Oh shit! What are we called? An influencer. Yeah.
You are. You influence.
Yeah. That's pretty skib of me, to be honest.
It is. It's pretty skib. Speaking of influencing. So we had Halloween. Halloween was yesterday. That's how I started this whole thing.
Right.
Logan was dressed as a creeper. We got these like a creeper onesie, kind of pajama onesie, because I thought, this is way cheaper than just a shitty costume, and you look like a creeper, and you get to like continue to wear this. You don't have to just wear it one time and be like, all right, well, that was fun. So we got him that, and he wore that. Michelle was Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and she had excellent makeup. You saw the picture.
Yeah.
And she had a great time. They both had a lot of fun. We like met up with kids that they went to school with. When we were trick-or-treating, so this is actually the first time in like 3 years that we actually trick-or-treated in our own neighborhood. We went last year with some like friends that we have in a neighborhood nearby, and we just like, put a bowl of candy out. And then when Jeanette's parents lived here, we used to go trick-or-treating in their neighborhood, because we would get them all together with her parents and everyone. So the grandparents got to see the kids, do a couple of trick-or-treats and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah.
So this is our first time really taking the kids out trick-or-treating in our own neighborhood. And first off, kids loved it. They had a great time. But also, we would like run into kids that knew our kids, you know. Michelle found one of her classmates. We were like at their house. Like we didn't know we were at their house, but like they lived next door to one of Logan's friends. And they were putting their candy out. And this girl comes running out, and she had like white face makeup on with like dark circles, very similar to how Michelle looks, except Michelle, I don't know if you knew this. The picture that I sent, you can go and look at this right now. The picture that I sent into our little production chat.
Yeah.
You see Michelle in there.
Right.
She is not wearing any like white face makeup. That is her skin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it looks, I literally was looking at, and I know that the reason for this is just that like, well, when you have like the dark circles around the eyes and everything, the black of that makeup makes the rest of her skin look lighter in comparison. But I was literally like staring at her going, I told Jeanette, I was like, I thought that you put like some other makeup on her, put like foundation on or something. So
not
that it would
even
be, like, white.
on her, not even like on the side, like on the side of her eyes in the picture, her left eye, which is probably her right eye, right on the side. It looks like there's some white paint there.
No,
right?
that what you're seeing there is that Jeanette did put some makeup glitter on there just to make her a little extra glittery.
No, not the glitter. Not the glitter. I see the glitter. I'm talking about
hang on.
All right.
I'm showing the whole stream now. Sorry, daughter.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, no, that's just her skin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there you go. And she was really, really enjoying that cotton candy. Yeah. Pretty funny. Anyway, so we had a great time and met up with lots of kids. When we went with a group with you know, Logan's friends, and then one of Logan's friends was like, "Oh, I gotta go because his sister is, I think, 14. It was her birthday. Like her birthday's on Halloween, and so he was gonna go and meet up with her and then go trick or treating with her and her friend also. So he like ran back to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other friend of Logan's that was with us has a little sister who's Michelle's age, but she just turned 5. And was like, okay, well, they were like, we got to get her to bed, but it was like nice seeing you all. And so then just the 4 of us got to go just as our family and trick or treat the rest of the way. And we did the whole round around the block, and it was great. And like, it's funny because I've been seeing like on Reddit and even like my own friends who are like, there's no one ever trick or treats. There's no trick or treaters around, all this stuff. And it's like, you're in the wrong neighborhood. Our neighborhood was hopping, like so many people out. One of my, let's say, most memorable moments, and definitely one of Michelle's most memorable moments, is that we went to this house, and out front at a table there was somebody dressed as the Nun, you know, from like the horror movie The Nun, that series.
Okay.
And they just had like a sign with an arrow pointing to like their like porch, and they had their porch like they had like fabric covering it, so you couldn't, and you had to kind of like duck under it a little bit to get in there, and so it was really dark, like they had blacked it out. And inside, mentioned again, Michelle was not stoked. She was scared before we went in. She was already scared, and then we got in there. I went with her so that she could feel brave, and she did. She was very brave to even go in at all. We get in there. There's a strobe light flashing, and at the back of the porch, sitting down, who stands up? It's the clown from Terrifier.
What? You
know, have you seen Terrifier? I haven't seen it. I just know it through osmosis. Genuinely, because I've seen. I know it's named Art the Clown, and it is it's this like weird clown from an indie horror film series, and I know about it because they do K-pop dances on TikTok.
Okay, hold on.
You might know it if you've you might know it if
you said Art the Clown.
The Clown. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've seen like some
So-
TikToks with this guy.
Exactly. So we go in there. That dude stands up. he's full makeup, full everything, teeth out, the whole thing.
Jesus.
And there's a strobe light, and it's freaky, right? I get it. And then he reaches. He has like a cauldron, like a plastic cauldron, but it's hard to see. He reaches in, and then he pulls out what looks like a head, but it's actually just like a scooper that has candy in it. But he holds it out, like, here you go. And Michelle just looked at it and then bolted. She was like, fuck this, I'm out. And I'm like laughing a little bit, and I'm like, thank you. And I like took a piece of candy, put it in her bag, and then I got one for Logan too. He was there too, but he didn't really want to reach for it. I think he was a little freaked out by it. And then we said, thank you, happy Halloween, and we start to turn to leave, and he has a little horn, kind of horn, and so he honked his horn at us. It was
God.
He stayed in character, and I was like, oh my God. It's funny because it must have been 2 years ago, we did one walk down the road and then back to our house. We just went down a few because the kids were too small, right? But we wanted to take them out. I think Logan was dressed as Mickey Mouse and Michelle was Minnie. And I think it was the same house. They had a almost like a haunted house type setup, but it was a container, what are they called? Like the containers that they'll just drop off at your house.
A pod?
Yeah, like a pod. Yeah, exactly. 100%. So they had a little, haunted house. But when we went to that, they were there was a dude there who was dressed up and trying to be scary. He dropped the act for Michelle because he saw that we had really young kids. But of course, he couldn't see that as we approached, right? There was no way for him to know. And really, when you look like that clown, there's no turning it off,
Yeah.
So, but Michelle had been talking about that in the lead up to Halloween. She's like, I don't want to go to that one house that had the freaky thing. And Jeanette and I were both like, well, we haven't seen that pod out in the neighborhood. We've driven around and seen. And so we thought, oh, maybe those people moved. Maybe they're not there anymore. And so it's fine. We'll be okay. And then of course we go to this house, and I'm like, are they the same people? I don't know, because one looked like the nun and the other looked like Art the Clown. I have no fucking idea who they are. But it was fun. And the kids they got a ton of candy. So much candy, it's ridiculous. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Logan had a really good time, and Michelle had a good time. Oh, Logan wanted me to tell you, because I asked him, I said, hey, what about Halloween? Do you want me to tell Uncle Tom? And he said, tell him about the singing pumpkins. So there was one little cul-de-sac that we went to, and they had a projector set up, projecting faces onto these 3 pumpkins they had stacked up.
Yeah.
And it was singing Halloween-y songs, and it made the mouths moves to it, and he thought that was super cool. So
yeah, that is cool.
He wanted you to know about that.
Well,
You're welcome.
I'm glad to have been informed. That sounds like it was cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. What did you get up for Halloween? Did you get any trick-or-treaters?
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, I didn't do this because of Halloween. There was a period of time where, some kids in the neighborhood were doing ding dong ditch bullshit.
Oh, sure.
And
yeah.
when our doorbell rings, we have 2 creatures that like to let us know that the doorbell rang.
Yeah.
So it happened enough times in one day that I just went out there and I ripped the cables out of the button.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
So there's no more doorbell.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You could you could just get one of those internet connected doorbells. Not that I think that Ring is a great company or whatever, or Amazon, if they own Ring now. I think they do. But if you did that, then it would notify you on your phone, but you can make it so it doesn't ring a doorbell sound in your house.
Yeah.
So,
I
mean, it could be that or rip the wires out. I don't know. It could be one or the other.
Well, I mean, my thinking is kind of the same way that like if I'm getting a phone call, like if I'm getting a phone call
answering.
or if somebody is ringing my doorbell, I should know about it ahead of time, or I should know that, or I should at least expect it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because if you don't, you're not answering, right?
Right, because if you're ringing my doorbell and I am not expecting you, what the fuck are you doing at my house? Go away.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'd seen a TikTok somewhat recently that was like, what, you know, talking about like, why don't millennials like to answer their phone or the door? And it's like, because you went home alone after school and your parents said, don't answer the door for anybody, don't answer the phone. And so if somebody knocked on your door or whatever, you would just kind of hide and stay quiet because there were no adults there.
Yeah. I mean, so. I take it a step further, and anytime we get DoorDash, I look through the peephole until the car leaves, and then I go outside to get my food.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever works. I wore the same costume as I wore last year. I don't know if you remember what it was, but it's like an inflatable costume that makes it look like an alien's carrying me around.
Yeah.
And I had put stickers on it last year. One of Dwecky that says "I'm hungry" and he's like sleeping in a bed, and another one is Bokuri and it says you're always hungry. You know.
Yeah.
It's from that classic Stray Kids moment, and they were still on there, and so, but nobody. I kept expecting that like people are going to notice that I have these stickers, but nobody noticed.
No.
And not only does okay, which is fine because I don't like to be noticed. You know this,
right?
But people did notice me. People kept saying like, "Oh, I love your costume," and I'm like, "Thanks." Stop perceiving me.
Yeah.
But the kids like it. So what am I going to do?
That's the thing is like, I don't want, I don't know, you know, maybe I'm, oh man, I'm going to be such
a curmudgeon.
Yeah. I'm going to be such a grumpy curmudgeon when I'm older, like, especially when I'm older, cause I can already feel it coming on where I'm like, I don't want any human interaction unless I initiate it, you know?
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this last time we recorded. Where like when I come in the morning, if someone says good morning to me, it makes me upset. I don't want
fucks up your whole day.
Yeah, don't say good morning to me. It's not a good morning. I'm at work. Shut up.
Yeah. That's totally fair. That's how I feel when I get to work and then somebody puts a meeting on my schedule. I'm like, son of a bitch. I was about to go home. I'm like 7 hours from going home, and I'm like, damn it, I was almost free. You know?
Yeah.
I that literally happened to me yesterday. Somebody had messaged me. At least they messaged me before they did this, but they were like, hey, like, can we like meet up and talk about this thing? And I was like, sure. Just like throw something on my calendar. It's totally cool. And I'm expecting, okay, like next week they're gonna hit me up, and they scheduled it for like 2 hours later. And I was like, what?
Oh.
What? Excuse me. What are you doing? What are you doing there scheduling a meeting for the same day you told me that we're going to have a meeting? I haven't prepared. I don't know what we're talking about. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It was fine. I am me, so I don't want to interact with people, but I also can conjure up this ability to speak as if I am a person who would speak clearly.
Right.
So I practice it, you know. I've practiced it 157 times so far.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Although I think I lean more extrovert than you do, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time I just don't talk to me. Just leave me alone. The worst part is that it's lately. I mean, I posted our production chat a few days ago how I was like, all I needed to do was just concentrate on this thing that I was doing and for people to leave me alone. And so it like, I rarely do this. I verbalized that. I said, hey, I have to focus on this. So I'm going to put in earbuds, which like I thought was a pretty clear message to everyone to leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
And
they kept talking.
I don't know if it was because I like that's where my mental state was, where like I have to focus on this, or if it was just the normal amount, but it seemed like everyone all of a sudden throughout the next 4 hours found every possible fucking reason to bother me.
That's the worst. No way. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Not into it.
Yeah, I was getting pretty upset, and then
yeah,
I was like, okay, well, this is not gonna fucking happen, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
but you know, that's the life of this job, I guess. Oh, I got an email. I got an email yesterday that was like, speaking of last minute scheduling, I got an email at like 12 yesterday, 12 something.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, hey, we need, basically they needed this. Somebody was putting out that something needed to be done that has like never been an expectation and has never been a thing. And they're like, they were like presenting it as if this is something that we should have been doing the whole time. And it's due by the end of the day.
Oh, great. Yeah, perfect. Wonderful.
And I was like, I emailed him and I was like, hey, just curious, is there an instruction that governs this? Because this is the second email I've received that's like, hey, you have to be doing it this way, when I've been doing it a different way forever and no one has said anything until suddenly it's a problem. And so like, I'm just curious if there's some actual like instruction or like, you know, a written standing order, something in black and white that says it must be done this way, so that I'm not surprised by this shit anymore.
Yeah.
And cause I don't like these last minute, you know, day of end of day taskers. And he replies back and he's like, yeah, we're working on an instruction. It's not approved yet, but this is the Commodore wants this, which is our CO's boss. You know, he's like, the Commodore wants this done. And I was like, cool. And then I went home because I wasn't going to fucking do it. I did it this morning when I got in. And guess what? No one said shit because it didn't fucking matter. I hate when people like put a priority on things that don't have a priority, you know, like a time frame. Oh, right. So frustrating.
It's the worst.
Yeah, I was anticipating that my chief would text me and be like, "Hey, did you do that thing that, you know, the Commodore wanted done?" And I was gonna be like, "No, I do it on Friday, and that's when I'll do it."
Yeah, I mean that makes all the sense in the world. So, oh well, yeah, they can wait. It doesn't sound like it was that dire, other than the fact that they just thought, oh, somebody important is involved, so we have to do it now. Like, so arbitrary.
Yep.
I bet if anybody asked that person, like, hey, do you need this now or can it wait? They would have just been like, oh yeah, it can wait. Just, you know, whenever. Like,
well, maybe from what it seems, the Commodore is like micromanaging the fuck out of this CO.
Oh,
which is
that's their problem, not your problem.
Never cool. Yeah. Well, I mean it.
Unless they make it your problem.
Yeah, it becomes my problem. So, well, yeah, it is because we're talking. Yeah. So a lot of it has to do with the Manning crisis, and because they're trying to. There's two separate departments basically. There's like schoolhouse instructors, and then there's the barracks babysitters, which are called NMTIs.
Okay. Yeah.
And the NMTIs are always fucking whining about how understaffed they are and how they need more bodies, and you know, they need this and they need that, and so they're like always trying to pull instructors from instructor duty over to be NMTIs. Except here's the thing: at 2000, the NMTIs turn over to the duty section, and on the weekends, the NMTIs don't do their job in the barracks. It's the duty section, like watchstanders.
Okay.
So they are only at work between, like, you know, the 5 or 6 of them that are assigned to a particular barracks. for like a 12-hour period. So what the fuck do they need help with?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but what they did was they reached out to the Commodore directly. They didn't go through our chain of command. Yeah. They reached out directly to him and said, "Hey, we're undermanned. We need more bodies." And so the Commodore went to RCO and was like, "Hey, what's going on with the schoolhouses, and why can't you support, sending instructors over for NMTI?"
Wow.
But like, we're undermanned.
Right.
Well, at least that's been the word on the street forever. But then my new chief, he was pulling the numbers, because we have like, there's instructions upon instructions and guidelines and shit. So
right.
for every school and subject, there's like a curriculum outline that says like, if there's this many students for this topic of learning, you need this many instructors and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And so if you look at, how many classes could be running at any given time for any given topic, how many instructors each schoolhouse would need just like on hand at any point. And every single schoolhouse is actually overmanned except for Tacto.
Well,
yeah.
Oopsie poops.
We found that out. And they're always trying to steal us. Like it seems like every few months we have to.
So they're always, because I remember you guys are other people keep saying like, oh, you need to do this job now. You got to do this job now. Like all these other shit that doesn't pertain to your actual job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It turns out they should have been going elsewhere.
Right.
That's great. That's great.
If they look at the numbers, oh man. But here's the thing: they don't know how to look at the numbers. Okay. I'm going on a little mini rant.
All right.
We'll get into Stray Kids in a second. All right.
Okay.
Here's another thing that fucking pissed me off recently. So one of the thing about the email that like I had to do was they wanted us to put in like instructor, like a projection for what instructors would be in what classes and teaching what subjects for the month of November.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of my email was that when has that ever fucking mattered? Like no one has ever said to do that. And what I do is every Friday, I do like a weekly closeout. So I go into the system and where it has like all of our classes listed, and every single Friday I go in and I assign the person that actually taught that class on that day for the week to give them their hours and then submit that, which I feel like makes way more sense than saying like, oh, let me just go put it in a month in advance and hope it doesn't change.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I do this every Friday. Hasn't changed. I do it every Friday, log into the system, put in the hours. Now, the thing is there's two separate, there's like a bunch of different categories, but essentially there's podium hours, which is like you're actually teaching. And then there's contact and development, which you have to put in manually for whatever, like typically they want us to say, oh, you were preparing your lesson plan for the next class you're going to teach, or you were doing whatever.
Yeah.
And the contractors also have like go into the system. And since they're part of our schoolhouse, I put in their hours also.
Sure.
On Tuesday, an email was sent out with a spreadsheet that listed everyone's podium hours. And they were calling out the fact that if you're not listed as having hours, then you need to go in and like update it for contact and development. But the thing is that if you're looking at the podium hour page, it doesn't show you the contact and development hours that have already been input.
Right. So they're just not looking at the right thing at all.
So one of our contractors got a call from his boss and was like, hey, you don't have any hours in TSS, the program. He's like, you don't have any hours in TSS. What the fuck is the deal? And so he comes to me and he's like, hey, my boss says I don't have any hours. And I was like, you do. I do it every Friday. You definitely have hours.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound cocky, but I don't fucking make mistakes. All right.
Right.
I do my fucking job. All right. And he's like, okay, I'll let him know. But then, so I look at this email and I'm like, oh, I know what's going on here. So I logged into the system. I pulled the page that shows his contact and development, and it shows that I have put in 8 hours for him every single day for the past like fucking year, you know? And so I printed this off, and I went over to him and I was like, hey, what did your boss say about your hours? Like, what was he looking at? He's like, well, there was the email that, and I went, oh, okay. Right. So here's the deal. Your boss was looking at your podium hours, which is 0 or was 0 at the time. But if he just clicked on the next fucking tab, he would see that you do have hours in the system. So why are people in charge of us that don't know how to fucking use the systems that they want us to use to give them the information they want?
But that's just how it is. That's not even that's not a Navy thing. That's just like how companies run. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so efficient. I love that it falls to you to like correct everyone and be like, hey, by the way, you're looking at the wrong shit.
Yeah.
So good. Well, that's fun. Sorry about that. For a positive, at least we get to watch Stray Kids tonight.
That's true. That is good.
It's a pretty good segue. So
Right.
tonight we're watching the docuseries for iDays Milano, BST Hyde Park, and Lollapalooza Chicago. It's 2 parts, and it has subtitles. So we're gonna watch it. Right, meow?
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Next episode. Spoilers. I don't want spoilers for the next episode. We're about to watch it. What'd you think of Milan? Do you have any thoughts so far, Tom?
I mean, it just seems like the whole process of setting up a show seems pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, the insight, they'd done that one very short docuseries that we watched, but it was like 18 minutes long, and it was very like quick and just like, hey, we're hanging out backstage, getting ready, and then performing, But this actually goes into so much more depth of like how they're directly adjusting their show for key moments with the band to like bring out the energy the way they want it to be, and like how much more input that they're having in that process than we get to see typically. And it's pretty cool. I mean, we know the Stray Kids is a self-produced band, but like, where does that end, And apparently the answer is it only ends where Bangchan lets go, which is not much.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty great. I'm really loving seeing how they do. The thing that I'm most excited about is that on TikTok, I saw there's like moments before they go on stage at I think it's at Lollapalooza, and Stay is like singing or chanting or something. No, I think they were singing Stray Kids by Stray Kids, and you see the members get to hear it, and it's like, what a cool thing that like when you're a fan, and like when we saw them, when Jeanette and I were there, and various other folks in Fort Worth, there's like a part right ahead of it where they play Stray Kids music before they come out on stage, and everybody sings. But in my mind, I would have thought like, well, they're just backstage in the green room. They're not like sitting back there listening, but there's like some chance they were like listening to all of Stay in that arena, like actually singing to them, their songs to them, because we're going to get to see them maybe in the documentary do that. And I think that's fucking so cool. Mm-hmm. As if it's not hard enough to get tickets to see Stray Kids. If people know that Stray Kids might hear them singing, oof, it's rough. Life is hard for a Stay at this point. They gotta they need to start adding like 60 more days to their world tours, so that like, they just saturate the market with concerts so that they don't all sell out. That's never gonna happen. That would be really hard on them. But like, I'm just saying, like, come on guys, like, I also keep seeing on TikTok they haven't announced world tour dates for the US. Which I love that, like, every TikToker who wants to have a conversation about it and talk about this thing, they're like, okay, now I get that at the last world tour, they didn't go to Europe and all these other places. So I'm not saying take away from them. I'm just saying, like, I'm waiting every day for them to announce US tour dates because I'm stressed out and I have to have money available to buy those tickets. So, like,
right.
any day, Stray Kids, please. It's pretty funny. Yeah. So we're gonna continue on. We're gonna go to episode 2 and see what it's like.
Let's do it.
Boop.
A few moments later.
Woo! Hey, that's the end. Tom, what'd you think?
Wowzers.
Hyde Park. We got Lollapalooza. That was in your backyard. You know, not literally.
Well, yeah.
Or was it literally?
Yeah, actually, no. Yeah,
This is just right back there.
it was. Yeah.
Oh, god damn. It hurts me a little bit to know that you were so close to being able to hear Chick Chick Boom Festival version performed live. Like, it could have been worth it just for that. But, like, going to a whole festival just for that, that's pretty hardcore.
Look, we started off this episode with like 30 minutes of us talking about how we don't like social interactions.
Leaving our houses.
So.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's awkward. I don't want to talk to people, but I do want to be there and see Stray Kids perform. So it's, I contain multitudes,
Right.
That's the one way to say that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. I love how, like, I was just talking about, like, oh yeah, there's this like part that I remember when people were singing and they were backstage listening, and then like the beginning of the second episode is just about that, and I'm like, oh okay, well I guess I could have just shut my fucking mouth for a minute, and they would have just been like, oh, check this part out, that's pretty cool. Like, yeah, okay, well, yeah,
it's all good.
You know what? Yeah, it is all good now.
It's all good now.
I've got it. I was ready.
Good job,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, locked and loaded.
The one thing I was disappointed about is they talked about how for BST Hyde Park that Felix went crazy on stage and poured water on himself and the pictures looked awesome, and then they didn't show it. Like, what so rude.
Yeah,
why
bullshit.
would you not? That is bullshit. So I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna find a picture.
That's what we in the biz call skibbity bullshit.
I thought you dropped the. Isn't it just skib?
It's just skib. Yeah.
It's skib now.
That's
total skib.
Yeah, that's some real skib you guys pulled there. Get it together, Mnet, or whoever fucking did that.
I think this is just Stray Kids.
Yeah. Oh, get it together, Stray Kids.
Yeah, or I guess we could say it was JYP. Yeah.
Right.
Copy. Oh, Utah's on it. There it is. Look at that.
Utah.
And it's
Give me two.
What do you think of that picture?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. My man looks great. He looks like pristine. Like, I think anyone else pouring water on themselves is going to, like, it's not going to look that good. You know what I mean? Like something's going to be out of place. You're going to be like choking. You're waterboarding yourself. Something is not going to look right. But this picture he looks pristine. Yeah. Pristine. He
should be like a idol.
An idol or something? Yeah. I think you're right. One of my favorite things from after Chicago, they're doing like the interviews after the show, and Felix was like, yeah, I'm it was so good. I lost my voice and it was totally worth it. Everything was great, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And then it cuts to Changbin, and his voice sounds completely different because like he's definitely lost some range of his voice. Like earlier in the episode, he's talking, he's kind of has his normal like kind of raspy fry in the back of his voice, and then suddenly it was gone.
Yeah.
After when he was being interviewed afterwards.
Yeah.
After he was shoving his butt in Hyunjin's face.
Right.
So yeah. Which was great too. I mean, that's great.
As you do.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to do that, right?
All the time.
And if you at home,
oh,
if you want to stick your butt,
are you
in
doing a
Hyunjin's
transition
face,
right now?
if you want to put your butt in Hyunjin's face, you have to go to makeastay.com. That's how it works.
Yeah,
That's just how it works. You have to.
You have to.
You don't have a choice.
Right. It's not optional. Go
They won't
to
let
make
the
a
butts
stay
out unless you go.
makeastay.com right fucking now.
Can you? Okay. They didn't even address the fact that in Lollapalooza, Felix was just like not wearing a shirt. He was full nips out. The nip nops were out.
Nip nops were out.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
And
there was that.
And who's complaining?
Nobody was complaining. I definitely saw a TikTok where, have you ever seen, there's that TikTok sound that's like, hey, where your clothes at?
No.
You know that one? No? You don't know that one?
No.
Oh, well. It's just describing TikTok sounds isn't entertaining, so fuck it. Fuck it. I am pulling the goddamn chute. I'm getting out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think if you were to continue on that path, it would be very skib of you.
Ugh. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be skib.
No one wants to be skib.
Yeah. And if you don't want to be skib, you should go to makeastay.com.
If you want to be scab, go to make
Scab.
Scab sounds worse.
Nah, we don't allow scabs.
Yeah, if you want to be you should scoot on over to makeastay.com and hit that comment, like, subscribe, visit our Patreon, join the Discord, say hey, what's up?
Yeah, do that. Do what Tom said. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.